Radio Free 102.3 KJLH. Man, there's a lot to talk about. It's a Hot Topic Tuesday, and I can't even start scrolling because it's just too much going on right now. Let's turn to the phones and see what you think is important. 520-KJLH, 520-5554. We're going to go to Ray calling from Atlanta. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique and the Front Page family. How you all doing?
Blessed. What's on your plate today?
Oh, I got a lot on my plate. My first thing, I want to talk about two things. First thing I want to talk about is combating the stimulus racism up in these financial institutions. Like, that's why I want to see Black Lives Matter shift their focus to also. Making it easier for us to get lines of credit and, purchase homes and stuff. Like me being an independent contractor, I'm a trucker and I have my own trucking business, but they still want you. It's crazy when they want you to have 2 years of financial tracking before they want to finance you a home, as opposed to going to, if you get a job for 6 months, you can get a home. And where a job ain't even guaranteed. So I would like to see like action take place in those areas, you know what I'm saying? Because they make it real hard and they block us out. You know, even when we go for try to get loans and stuff. I mean, even though the money is out here, it's still hard as heck getting the loans. You know what I mean? So I would like to see Black Lives Matter and other people like, what can we do, even with the credit? When you like lines of credit, the way they do credit now, with the bills that Trump passed and even Obama had helped sign in, where the way the credit is monitored, you know, is different. Like, your points don't even go up no more like they used, you know, like that. So all that stuff is like real, like kind of difficult to break barriers through. And I like to see more emphasis put on that. All right. And
well, you had two things, so I'll respond to that, but I wanted to let you say your other thing.
My second thing is immigration. You know, Biden, he losing me with this. They let Latinos over here heavily because what they're doing is getting our votes out the way, where we pressure them, like with the Ice Cube, trying to ransom them, you know, for this.
Ray, I think your phone is.
So our votes.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with your phone. Okay, well, actually, the Latin immigration is down, although we do currently have a surge of unaccompanied minors at the border that, is a very recent phenomenon. I think the word got out. People thought that people would be able to get in under Biden, but also there was a massive hurricane in Central America that made a lot of people flee. But because our economy hasn't been great, immigration has been down. I don't know if the answer to your votes being disrespected has anything to do with immigration. I think it has to do with getting rid of Republicans and their oppressive laws, like the one in your home state of Georgia, and the ones that we're now seeing being proposed all across the country, which clearly specifically target black people. Those undocumented immigrants, they can't vote. So now, if you're talking about competition for jobs, that could be a thing, because they're going to be underbidding you, but they definitely can't vote. As far as the other thing about the finances, I know what you're saying is right, and the best thing I can tell you is to get somebody to help you. Get a financial advisor. If you were here, I'd tell you call Marie Deary, but there's people in every city. Or institutions, you know, those community financial institutions that can help you navigate all of the obstacles that they'll throw in your path as far as those loans, which are many, and also kind of counteract the, I guess we'll call it, bias against independent contractors, against people who are actually running their own small businesses. You actually might look at joining the independent indiework.org Independent Professionals Association also has people that own small businesses like truck drivers and stuff. And one of the things they do is lobby on their behalf. I mean, you're going to need help. These things that you're saying are real. And, you're going to need help to win.
But I would like to see some stuff like Wells Fargo is one of the biggest ones with us African Americans.
Yeah, so I wouldn't bank with them. Sorry.
Look, I don't. But they set up a thing for the Latinos back a long time ago. I told you where they gave them up to 600,000 as long as they U.S. for 2 years.
Yeah, that's a rumor, right? They're not giving out money to Latinos or Black people.
I read that.
All right, well, where did you read it? You think they're handing out money? That's not the truth.
Can I show it to you? No, they had.
Please do. DiPrimaRadio@gmail.com. DiPrimaRadio@gmail.com. Please do.
All right,
please do, because I'll believe that only when I read it from a trusted source. You would think all these Latinx people would be running around here mowing lawns and selling oranges on the freeway if they were handing out $600,000 checks, no questions asked. I highly doubt that. Let's see. You can have $600,000 of free money, or you can clean my house every day, every week, or whatever. Or you can stand out here on the median and sell bouquets of flowers. Oh, you'd rather sell the flowers? Okay. Carry on. I doubt it. Who's been on hold? Mr. Horton from L.A., thank you for your patience. You have the mic.
Good morning, Dominique.
Morning.
Jumbo. There's no doubt we're in the middle of a blue pandemic, quote unquote, where the symbol of law enforcement, of law and order, is either a police officer or a person who's participating in stand your ground laws. Even when insurgents who went to the Capitol, on January 6th. And so they have a talking point. The most famous talking point is only a few bad apples. I say that's impossible, because there were only a few bad apples. So the good ones would report the bad apples, and they're not doing it. So in my book, that doesn't exist, because they're not even enforcing their own law. They're not turning these people in. The only time we know about these incidents, most of the time, someone has a camera. So how many times are they doing this without reporting this?
Yeah.
So there can't be a few bad apples. That's just impossible. But
that's the scary thing, right? I mean,
right.
You know that it's going on when there's no cameras, and sometimes it goes on with cameras, and people are intimidated out of bringing that footage forth. I guarantee you.
Which means that they're part of the bad apple syndrome then. So they can't be considered good cops. I mean, you're getting paid to do this. You're not doing your job. So, I have no sympathy for those people, because you're killing people. But I have a strategy, though, to change the gun laws in 30 days. Now, I want to see what you think about it.
Okay, what is it?
The biggest image in this country of a law and order, of course, I said before, it's a white man with a gun. And what's their worst fear? Their worst fear is a black man with a gun. So in those stand your ground states where they have that law, if a politician would get involved, say, look, there's a city life and there's a country life in each one of those states. An urban life and a city and a country life. And this country life, they carry the weapons around it, wherever they go. There's no problem with that. But in urban life, for some reason, the black and brown people, they don't do that. Now imagine the symbol of a smiley said, we just don't. That's our right to do this. Living in the same state, right? So we're gonna call the press ahead of time. We're gonna have a march at some park, a peaceful march at some park. We're gonna have young people involved, and we're gonna march with our weapons on. And just because just let this soak into their mind. And I promise you, the image of a young black and brown people with tattoos, with Tech 9s or AK-47s on their back, and just walking doing their constitutional rights.
All right, come on and land for me, Mr. Horton. Come on and land for me.
That image, that self, they change your mind. I promise you it'll change your mind. They do not want to see black and brown people with weapons.
So you're saying bring back Huey Newton, the old school
black
man.
No, they're not doing it. Well, and I never Huey Newton. You're doing something the white people are doing. The black people and the brown people, they're not doing what the white people are doing. They have the same rights to walk around with guns on.
Well, you really don't, though, because you'll get shot dead. I mean, I know on paper we do, but we know the reality of that. Philando Castile didn't even have his gun out. He told the officers he had a gun. And that didn't go well for him.
The politician would be shot dead with him, too, also. Are you saying that also?
Yeah. All right,
I mean, you have to be bold. I think that image by itself would change people's mind.
Got it. Thank you, Mr. Horton. Well, it did back when the Black Panther Party showed up with guns at the Capitol. They quickly passed gun control, but I don't know. I think now they'll just probably shoot him dead. Going to Lovett, calling us from L.A. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. How you doing?
I'm blessed. What's up?
Oh, hey, look here. I'm a truck driver. I live in Bakersfield, but I drive every morning out here to the port out here in San Pedro, and I listen to your program. Okay, now, the reason why I'm calling this here because I was just saying, I was listening at you about a week ago, and you had an attorney on there, and he's saying about the verdict. Okay, now we got 3 guilty verdicts. Okay, now 3 guilty verdicts. This lawyer that you was talking to, he said that he may get anywhere from 8 to 10 years. Okay, wait a minute here. 8 to 10 years for taking the man's life. Oh, now, if it was a black officer that had this white officer, individual pinned down, he lost his life. How much time would that black officer get? Because I understand. I mean, it's crystal clear to me that we living in a white America. You know, I'm not racist. I love everybody because my Bible tells me to love everybody. But we're living in a world, our United States, where it's one way. It's their way or no way.
World. I mean, it may be worse here, but yeah. So
yeah,
to your point, the thing is, it's hard to get officers even charged and then to get them convicted. We know that. Remember Oscar Grant? When they convicted Johannes Meserly, he was seen on tape shooting the guy in the back of the head. Yeah, and he ended up doing, 2-3 years or something? 2 years, I think, if I remember correctly. Amber Geiger over there in Texas, she's trying to get out right now. She's trying to, argue today to get her sentence down, to get her charges down. This is what people do. They work the system. Everyone does it. I think probably officers do it more successfully. But what I think you're talking about Carl Douglas, Attorney Carl Douglas. What he was saying is that the maximum is 40 years, right? And for the most severe charge, and then the other one is 25 and the other one is 10. But what he was saying is they're not going to stack those on top of each other. They're going to let him serve them concurrently. So if one charge is reduced to 10 and one charge is reduced to 8 and one charge is reduced to 8, he'll just get 10. He won't get 10 plus 8 plus 8. And that's why it would be so relatively short. The good news to your point, and we'll see what happens with this, but Merrick Garland's Justice Department is looking into charging him for the time when he did that kneeling on the neck move to a teenager. That teenager didn't die, but he was hospitalized. He hit him with a flashlight, sending him to the hospital for multiple stitches, and kneeled on his neck for like 8 minutes and then on his back for another, I'm going to say like 10 or more.
I don't understand why police officers don't get time like we get time. They drop the bomb on us, but instead they pat them on the hand and say, "Go ahead, okay. Well, we give you probation or we give you 5 years. You be out for some, excuse my language, for some hell of a crime." The officers, they always get a pat on the back or a pat on the hand.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think that's right. Do you think? I think that officers get extra consideration because they say, well, their job is hard. They have to deal with criminals all day, and they carry a weapon, so they should get a pass. In California, we have the Police Officers Bill of Rights, which makes it very difficult to get charges to stick.
A black man's job is hard too.
So what? Yeah, that's true. It's a great point.
That's true. But I was standing at a bus stop.
Okay, go ahead. Finish your story. No, go ahead.
I was standing at the bus stop, just getting off work. This is when the reason I left L.A. I was standing at the bus stop on Vernon and Vermont, standing there. A car turned around. I see the car go down the street. It turned around, pull up to the bus stop, and then they pull over, and they says, I seen the back window come down. I stand next to this old lady. I'm like, oh, shoot, this ain't good. And I heard one of the guys in the back seat said, go ahead, he's black. Well, after that, it was 2 weeks later, I got my ass out of L.A. because, I don't know, was they white in the back of the car? Or were they Hispanic? Or what? I don't know what they was. You know what I'm saying? I know the Hispanics, brother, we didn't have no beef with them. So they love, we got love for them. But them other ones, the cops could be riding around killing black people and then blaming it on each other.
Okay, so I was going to ask you a question, but I guess I better not.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dominique. I apologize.
Okay, no more cussing. All right, love it.
Okay.
So you can do it at home, just not on the radio.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
But I kind of think I already know the answer. Some people say that police officers should have more accountability than others because their job is to protect and serve and because they carry a gun. And others say they should have more protections because they put their life on the line for their job and they deal with dangerous people every day. So where are you?
That's respectful. I understand that.
You think they should have more protections or you think they should have more accountability?
They should be more accountability for what they do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like they're talking about defund the policemen. I think that myself, each officer should be evaluated for everything he does because it should be a foundation where they just can't one day decide. Just like they got this little thing where they have their code of silence.
Yeah, I got
and then that right there caused. Like I said, they ain't nothing but gangbangers. But when our people gangbang, it's a major problem. It's a major problem. We got to put a stop to that.
All right, love it. I thought you might say something like that. And I understand that. I do think that's why when people say, oh, Black Lives Matter, well, what about, crime in the streets? I don't think it makes sense to compare cops to criminals. Of course, police officers are supposed to be held, and sheriff's deputies, to a much higher standard. And I also think that's one of the reasons why it's unbelievable that we do not have a massive pushback on the fact that we have gangs within our sheriff's department. How is that just something that, okay, we've seen the study, we know what happens, not a big deal, keep it moving? What?